Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to another player profile. Today I'm going to take a look at Joel Selwood. Now, I think Joel Selwood's a man we must consider and consider strongly. I think he's an absolute bargain this year and one man that's right in the mix when it comes to selecting my midfield. Just averaged 102.2 points last year, which is well down on what we're used to across Joel's career, but there were a couple of reasons for that. But first of all, let's just take a look at some of those averages of years gone by. He's been a premium that we can rely on for many, many years to come. In fact, last year was his lowest average since 2008, just his second season, where he averaged 98.2. Since then, he went bang in 09, and going to the current, he's gone 110.9, 117.8, 111.5, 117.7, 118.4, 120.7, absolute prime there, 120.9 in 2014, 104.8, 111.5 in 2016, and then the drop-off last year. So they're big numbers. In particular, 2012 to 2014, 117 plus for the 3 years, right in his prime. So I think across his career, he's definitely a man that we can really select and go, he's a 110 to 115 sort of fella. Now, is he starting to drop off, or was last year just a poor year? One thing we've got to look into and take note is against the Dockers, just the 3 points. Now, he was concussed very, very early, I believe it was. I think he only managed 5 or 10 minutes, maybe even less. So just the 3 points there. So obviously, you can pick and choose stats from certain rounds and injured games and take them out to equal another average, which is all well and good. And you could argue the point that Joel may well get a concussion most years, and depending what stage of the game could hurt you. But this was as early as you're going to likely see. And if we take that 3 out and just look at his other matches, 108.1 he averaged, which was very impressive. And then he did have an interrupted back end of the season as well. Of course, was struggling with that ankle injury, which was flared up against Sydney, the syndesmosis, I think they say it, and he did eventually get back to the finals, but he missed the last 3 rounds, I think it was. So against the Swans, went off, I think it was in the third term, 63% game time for 82 points. So if you want to really get technical, take out a couple of those games, I think we can safely say from when Joel got a fair crack at it for a full game, 109.7 was his average. So I think we're getting Selwood at a nicely discounted price, and I think he's very much a guy that should be strongly considered. Now, before the buy, you're averaging 116, so extremely good numbers. Of course, after the buy, did struggle a touch, of course had that injury, and just never quite got fully fit. Now, Selwood is a battering ram. He goes in as hard as anyone. Is that style of play starting to catch up with the young man? Have we seen the last of those consistently big scores? I'm not too sure. I'm a believer that he's still got plenty of great footy, because it was evidenced by last year. We saw plenty of it in the first half of the season. And I think if he's going to have a good pre-season, then he'll certainly be averaging those types of numbers. So I think he's someone that I'm going to look very closely at. At the moment, if we're looking sort of mock draft teams, he certainly is in my side. Just I do like taking away, some of those injured games that were just freak accidents. He doesn't have any hammy problems or any knee problems. You could argue he does have a bit of a problem with concussion, but even so, that does come down to an element of luck. And the fact that Ablett comes to the Cats, I think, helps him. It'll take a little bit of heat off Selwood. Dangerfield and Ablett, I think, will be the ones who play the most time in the forward line. And I think that will allow Selwood to really be mainly a midfielder, which he has always really been, but at times Geelong have tried to rest him forward just to see. But now that I think that they've got Gazza and Dangerfield, 2 absolute stars in the midfield who are very capable forwards, I think that'll see those 2 rotate off the ball and through the forward line, and you'll just get Duncan and Selwood consistently through the middle and really be your 100% midfield guys. So I like that aspect of it as well. Now, let me know what your thoughts are on Joel Selwood. For me, it's a fairly simple one, this one. I don't feel there's a stack of discussion because he's a proven scorer over the journey. There are a couple of injured matches last year which did see his average plummet a little bit. Sometimes it just depends when you cop that injury. We've seen guys in the past who get injured in the last 10 minutes, they still score 9,500 points. But Joel's just happened to cop one of those in the very early minutes and virtually counts as a non-scoring game because you can only rack up the 3 points. So I think it's certainly something we've got to consider. I reckon he's a player that really will benefit from Ablett being in the side. He's benefited from Dangerfield coming into the team. Of course, that 104.8 in 2015 really reeked of a bloke shouldering the load far too much in a pretty weak midfield. Dangerfield come on, 2016, 111.5. Selwood really thrived and they were a fantastic duo. I think he's still got that match-winning ability, sort of player that stands up when his team needs him. And the fact that Ablett comes in, Dangerfield comes in, of course they're going to play a bit forward as well, but it's a fantastic midfield and you could well see all three average 110 plus. But I definitely feel as if Selwood is a man who is very, very capable of that. And at that price, could be a nice little bargain in your midfield. So let me know what you think. I'll be very interested to hear. I'll have plenty more of these player profiles coming through over the course of Christmas and the new year, of course, as we knock off a few of the more interesting selections and popular choices for SuperCoach 2018. So thanks again. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you soon.